Welcome to Living the Keys, a series devoted to bringing the wisdom and teachings of the Gene Keys to life. Each week, we'll explore the shadow and gift of a different gene key, allowing you to uncover the hidden patterns that are shaping your reality and the higher purpose and potential that is waiting to be expressed through you. Whether you're new to the Gene Keys or you're an avid explorer of this powerful and transformative system of self-discovery, this is an invitation to embody and integrate these teachings into your relationships, your work, and your everyday life. Let's dive in. Today, we are going to be covering Gene Key 1. This is the first of 64 Gene Keys. This is the first of 64 videos to come each and every week, where I'm going to be diving into these keys from a very personal level, from a level of having lived through the shadow, through the gift of these keys, and to share my reflections and my insights into what all of this may mean for you. And of course, you'll have your own interpretation. Perhaps you'll even have your own reflections and contemplations based on what is being shared in these videos. But what a wonderful way to start. I am so excited to be here. Now, for those of you that maybe haven't tuned into me before, maybe haven't come across my content, I have been a student and a guide of these teachings for the past 10 years. This magical text and book, The Gene Keys, found me in 2016. And since then, I have been on a very deep and profound journey, really working, integrating these teachings, this wisdom into my life. Now, for those of you that are new to the Gene Keys and perhaps you've heard about it, but you're not really sure how it works or any of that, I have intro videos. They are linked below this video. Those intro videos are a way for you to understand the interworkings of your own personal Gene Keys profile, which you can download your free profile at genekeys.com/free profile. Now, when you're on there and you put in your birth information, your date, your time, your place, you're going to get a profile that has these different arrangements and sequences of keys. Now, again, my first video of the 7-part intro series that I have on the Gene Keys will explain what all of that means. And regardless of whether you have this specific key, Gene Key 1, which we're going to be going into today, in your profile or not, it does not matter, because all of the 64 archetypes, or the 64 keys, are encoded within the human genome, within our DNA. And the ones that are in your profile are going to be maybe just a little bit more prevalent. Those are going to be the way of mastery in which you walk and how you begin to work with those keys. But again, even if Gene Key 1 is not in your profile, or any of the other Gene Keys that I'm going to be talking about in this series, it doesn't matter. This wisdom, these insights, these reflections will still apply to you. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be speaking to the Shadow of Entropy and the Gift of Freshness. Now, there is a third frequency. Again, the 3 frequencies: the shadow, the gift, and the city. I'm not going to be diving too much into the city. You can definitely pick up a copy of the Gene Keys book, or you can dive deeper with me in my community of the Mastery Collective if you want to go into all the different frequencies. But we're going to focus on transforming our shadows into gifts, because that's really essentially the bedrock of what this work is all about. It's about becoming a whole integrated human. It's about using our darkness as mirrors, as teachers, as catalysts for us to fully blossom into who we came here to be, into our light. That is the purpose of the darkness, of the shadow. We have to live in this realm here on earth, in this earth school, in duality, because duality is how we learn more about ourselves. And so these shadows, they are so incredibly powerful for understanding more of who we are. And as we begin to transform these shadows into our gifts, our life becomes fully alive. We become much more embodied in our power and our authentic soul expression. And so, this shadow, the shadow of entropy. Now, you may hear the word entropy. You may have a definition for that word, or perhaps you don't even know what that word means. So, I want to share a little bit into this shadow from a personal level. So, entropy can mean many things. It can, equate or correlate to numbness, to melancholy, to boredom, to what some may call the void. It may result in depression, sadness. This is a state where you are essentially empty from that creativity that flows through. This is a very creative key. This is the essence of creativity contained in a gene key, in the first gene key. And now, all of these keys, as we go deeper into them, you will see that all of it is about awakening our creative genius, which is our gift. But the essence of this key has to do with everything of creativity. And you might be asking yourself right now, or even considering, am I a creative being? Right? We've often equated and really interconnected creativity with the arts, with painting, with drawing, with writing, with speaking, perhaps with creating music. But creativity at our core, we are creative beings. We are creator beings. Yes, we have been conditioned and programmed out of that in many ways. And this is the remembrance that is coming back online for humanity, is that we are creative at our core, and that the feminine principle, right? The feminine principle that governs life is creativity. It births universes, it births lives. And that feminine principle is housed within all of us, both the masculine and the feminine. Yet we have been deeply disconnected as a society from the feminine. In fact, we've even oppressed that energy. And the feminine not only is equated to creativity, but receptivity, to intuition, to openness, to compassion, to wildness, to the void. And so this gene key asks us, how deeply can we surrender to the void? How deeply can we surrender to that emptiness, to that depression, to that sadness, to that space where nothing really feels alive? And so this is such a great contemplation, because most of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, because I'm speaking to myself personally when I say this, when entropy is present in my life, there is a need, there is a desire to run from it and to create and to do something that avoids going into it, because it's not comfortable. This is not, the shadows are not comfortable states. Hence why we often push them away. We avoid them. But it's our shadows, it's this shadow, it's of entropy, that we must lean into, we must feel into, we must breathe into. And by doing that, we actually then begin to fuel that creative spirit. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but this is how the shadows work. The more we run from them, the more we avoid them, the more we look away from them, the stronger they get. But the deeper that we go into ourselves, and then we begin to feel all of that energy, because all of these shadows are actually deeply intertwined with a somatic state of being, meaning this is the way in which we are feeling. And that feeling leads to deeper healing, because we are allowing it into our lives. We are not in resistance. We're not trying to push force past it. And, oftentimes, especially because of the programming and conditioning, this is exactly what we do, because we are programmed so deeply and indoctrinated into doing, into performing, into producing, into creating at all times. Look at the Western world and the hustle culture. And, have fallen victim to this in many ways, of thinking that I need to put out this post, or I need to create this video, or to do this thing. and push past it, even when I don't feel like doing it, even when my body, when my spirit is telling me to rest. Right. And this is a whole deeper conversation on the shadow masculine that has essentially run through this planet in the webs of this planet and within ourselves of so long. But the feminine always, the creative spirit always gives way to action. But when that creative fire is not present, then how deeply can we surrender into that moment of allowing that nothingness to be there and allowing ourselves to be in it? Because that is where there is a lot of fertility. When we're in that void, that is where all possibilities exist. And there, everything happens in divine timing and rhythm. We all individually have our own timing and rhythm in which we work on a specific clock. That there might be seasons where we are inside, we are in hibernation, we are in the nothingness. And there's seasons in which we are outward and creative and sharing our message, our expression, our gifts. And so this is a part of just being human. Now, to bring greater context to this conversation, I want to read a few lines from the Gene Keys themselves, from the transmissions of Richard Rudd, and the eloquent ways and the poetic ways in which he really spells out these keys and what they mean and how they apply to our lives. So I'm going to read a few excerpts from both the Shadow and the Gift. What is the meaning then of entropy in your life? As was just mentioned, entropy manifests in human beings as numbness, and this numbness is actually an extremely fertile state of awareness. First of all, you have to understand that it is a chemical state, and secondly, it comes on suddenly, and accepted and fully embraced, it passes just as suddenly. Entropy and creativity are an eternal dance played out within the universe we inhabit. We do not know exactly why we humans feel gloomy on certain days and happy on other days, despite our thousands of theories. Just as there is an external weather, there is also internal weather, and it differs in every human being. Yet it is very unpredictable nature of these internal weather patterns that so many of us struggle with. When you feel the movement of creation inside you, you are happy. When you feel entropy inside you, you are no longer happy. This continual interplay of energy in your life makes you want to always maintain the happy side and escape the gloomy side. Herein lies the greatest flaw in your nature and the distortion of true energy of entropy into depression. The first shadow appears in your life whenever you feel flat or sad or low. This is a chemical process that the body enters into. And if you try to comprehend it, find a reason for it, or worst of all, try to fix it, then the natural process will complete itself cleanly. If you resist this state mentally, one of the great dangers is that you will interfere with its process and fix it inside yourself as depression, because the first shadow triggers the chemical processes that can lead to depression. The state of entropy is rather like a vacuum state. Your system is recharging, so the energy within you withdraws into a kind of stasis. The resulting feelings or lack of feeling and or enthusiasm provide a delicate environment for something quite special to occur, if you are patient enough to allow it. This something is the creative process. In other words, your low energy means that something intangible is gestating inside you, even though you cannot see it yet. I'm going to pause there for a moment because these lines that were spoken out are so powerful. When we really consider what Richard was saying, is that it is that state of allowance. It's that state in which we can fully surrender into it because there is something greater that is trying to emerge through us. But when we are pushing against it, when we are resisting it, it is going to create all manner of problems, specifically mentally, in the loops that we get caught in. So, really, the question of this gene key is how deeply can we surrender to everything in our lives? How deeply can we let go into that natural creative process that is ebbing and flowing within us in all moments? I'm going to turn to the gift now, to the gift of freshness, and just read a few lines here. Every time an individual moves cleanly through their low frequency chemical process, they reenact this creation myth. Out of the darkness, suddenly light emerges. And as if by magic, the low energy field switches and is experienced as joy. This joy comes as unexpectedly as the sadness does. But with the joy also comes the need to express it, and especially to express it through your voice and through your art. This first gift is called the gift of freshness because whatever emerges out of its numbing chemistry field is absolutely new. Every word for every gene key is highly specific, and the word freshness is different, for example, from the word newness. Freshness conveys aliveness, as though it refers to something burning with an inner fire. This is exactly how people empowered by the first gift express themselves, as though surrounded by a halo of something brought from them from another world. This first gift can perform wonders within small organizational groupings. As you raise your frequency through this gift, you become a person likely to be singled out by others as a natural born leader. At the same time, you will find yourself reluctant to assume any leadership role since you are not in the least bit interested in being followed by others. All the first gift of freshness really wants is to express itself fully through you so that you can enjoy watching the impact you have on others. Freshness is a gift that needs the right environment in order to bloom. It needs open minded people who give you center stage exactly when you need it. The gift of freshness relies on one immortal truth: creativity can never be controlled. It simply comes when it comes, and when it is absent, there is nothing for you to do but wait and relax. For you, life is either fully engaged or completely at rest. Oh, so much beauty, so much goodness here that are contained within these teachings. And that is just a small preview of what this book, what Richard's audio contemplations, all of what we explore inside of the Mastery Collective, my personal community, what you can expect going through these keys. And so I hope you enjoyed this transmission today, and I hope that it resonated with your soul and your soul's journey. Now, for those of you that are feeling the call to go deeper and to explore these keys in a much more profound way, you can join me inside of my community, the Mastery Collective. We have close to 900 members right now inside of the collective. And every month we do these incredible Gene Keys activation calls in which we are working personally with your Gene Keys profile. And I'm going to be on those calls. I'm on those calls going through the specific sphere of that month based on where we are inside of the profile. But it doesn't matter where you come in. You can come in at any point of the journey and receive so much. And the best part about it is it's personalized to you. So you walk away and get so much out of it. And I have tons of material in there, including breathwork journeys that help you to support you in activating these gifts. I have, again, the live transmissions as a group that we go on. I have audio contemplations, reflection questions, journal prompts, so much in there. So for those of you that want to dive deeper with me in that container, all you got to do is click right below this video and you'll get full access right away to the community. You can come in as a free member, and those of you that want to go deeper with me within the community, you can become a premium inner circle member. And so with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this transmission. And I look forward to seeing you soon for the next one as we dive into Gene Key number 2. We'll talk to you soon. Sending you all the positive energy, all the love. Peace.